Tastes like something I've seen before, but with all the issues removed.
Buckle down.
The Guest is a movie that stars Dan Stevens and is directed by Adam Wingard. If you recognize that name, it's because he did the movie You're Next. I hadn't seen that movie, but I did see his segment in Record 2, the one with the eyeball camera. That was actually probably one of the coolest segments in that. So I wanted to see this film just because of all the really good ratings it had gotten. It had a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and after seeing it, I can understand why people didn't like it, but I can also see why people did. The Guest is about a movie named David who appears at the doorstep of a family's home, claiming to have been a friend of their lost son. They both served in the military together, so they naturally let him in. He seems really nice. He's very polite. He always says, "Yes, ma'am." But there's something kind of odd about him that starts to grow after time. He starts to actually help out with their kids, like beating up the guys who beat up their son. But then it starts to get weirder, and people start ending up dead, and you start to wonder what his real motives are. The Guest is a horror movie, and at that, a really well done horror movie. It's totally an homage to the old 80s horror films, especially with the font. If you notice at the title card of this video, that's almost the exact same font that was used for the title of this film. The weird blue with the hyperimposed Times New Roman is something straight out of Halloween. And that's something that's actually really interesting about this movie, is it's like watching an 80s horror film being made today. There's this guy who's killing people for this hidden motive, and there's something about him that you don't find out. That's just something that I was really interested in, is that they keep hinting at who he is, but you really never find out what it is, and that's something I really like. That's something that Stephen King would say, if you don't tell people what it is, it's better to have them speculate than to just give them the answer. But while this movie was good, there was a few silly points here and there. Mainly the ending, where there is this Halloween dance setup, and that's probably the highest budget I've ever seen for a Halloween high school dance ever. But I think, again, that is a trope that this film was poking fun at as well as homaging, that back in the 80s there was these ridiculous lavish setups for everything from prom or to Halloween dances or everything. That's the thing that this film is poking fun at the whole time. Dan Stevens does a fantastic job as David. He creeps you out, but he charms you at the exact same time. You'd almost want to meet the guy if he wouldn't stab you straight in the heart. I like the story, and I actually like how the film progresses. And in the end, I actually really liked how it ends. Again, it plays straight to that stereotype of the old 80s films, and it ends just right there. That part was great. So there are a few missteps here and there in the story, but I actually did enjoy this movie. The family plays a good role, and the surprises that happen are very good surprises. But the fact that it is kind of a stereotype horror movie, I can't give it as big of a rating as I would like. It has a few issues here and there, but for the most part, The Guest is a really good addition to horror films. So in the end, I'm going to give The Guest a 5 out of 7. It's a pretty decent film. I know people who liked it, but I also know people who won't, because some people don't appreciate these kind of things, and that's totally fine. There are some type of films that poke fun or make homage to other genres, and I just don't get that, so I can totally understand if you didn't. Anyway guys, I hope you're enjoying your morning tea, and I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully I'll have an actual released movie review soon.
Buckle down.